On this episode of the Bryant Buzz, some furry friends are getting some extra love.
It's a day for the dogs that have been in the shelter for a while to just get a chance to get out for the day.
Plus, we find out how video games are bringing students together.
They have a real good friendship and they work well together and they complement each other.
Also, Taylor Dishinger tells us how one teacher here at Bryant has a side gig that's in bloom.
Favorite thing about flower farming is definitely the flowers. I love growing flowers. I love just walking through the flowers.
And we talked to Bryant's new head football coach.
Can't say I'm pleased because the job's not done. You know, you really don't want to reflect on the season until you're done with it, but as far as what we're doing and progressing wise, coaching wise, I guess I'm okay with where we are now.
And as always, our 212 spotlight.
My primary goal is to build good humans before I build good musicians.
All of that next on the Bryant Buzz.
Welcome to the Bryant Buzz. I'm Hannah Rudnick.
And I'm Carson Hobson. Thank you for joining us. Here on the Bryant Buzz, we showcase the people and programs that make up the Bryant community.
Our first story takes us down to the Bryant Animal Control Center. Bryant Animal Control has over 1,000 animals calling their shelter home each year, but they've come up with a way for their dogs to go on a little adventure. On October 19th, Bryant Buzz reporter Chelsea Jensen spent time at the shelter for Doggy Day Out.
As man's best friend, dogs are America's most popular pet. But what happens to the dogs that spend most of their life in a shelter?
Here at the shelter, it's not like at your home where the animals get a lot of one-on-one attention. So unfortunately, our time is limited that we can spend with each animal.
Director of Animal Control, Tricia Power, says fall time is the busiest season for Bryant Animal Control and Adoption Center, with over 40 dogs in care. But they've come up with a way for their dogs to get a break from the stress of shelter life.
Doggy Day Out allows that animal to leave the shelter for the day. They get one-on-one attention for the entire day, and they go on an adventure. They say Doggy Day Out is an adventure fit for a dog, and it really is.
Anyone over the age of 18 is allowed to participate in Doggy Day Out. And there's endless places volunteers can take a dog.
We have had people that have taken a dog just to their house for the day, like the dog's, totally chill and he just wants to just hang out on the sofa and watch TV. I've had some that have taken them, up to the top of Pettigene Mountain for the day.
The event not only brings attention to the shelter, but attention to specific dogs in need of a permanent home.
So it does a lot of different things. Number one, the people who participate are advocates for the dogs. So we encourage them to take lots of pictures, take lots of selfies with your doggy for the day, and then share those with us and share those on social media.
Dog owner Brian Dishinger follows Bryant Animal Control on Facebook.
I think a lot of people don't realize how many dogs and the wide variety of dogs that are actually in the shelter. I think it's really cool that people have been really posting about, oh, this is a great day.
Doggy Day Out not only benefits the dogs participating, but also potential adopters.
It's a great way to test out, if you want to go try different size dogs and their level of activity and playfulness.
For more information on how you can participate in Doggy Day Out, visit cityofbryant.com. For Hornet Media, I'm Chelsea Jensen.
Thanks, Chelsea. The Bryant Animal Control Center is always doing something to help the animals that come into their shelter.
To find out what they have going on and how you can help, visit cityofbryant.com.
Or you could call the shelter by searching for their number online. Of all the clubs Bryant has on campus, we're always looking to expand. This year, students in CBI classes are able to participate in the Special Olympics by joining an Esports team. Here's Bentley Ballesteri with more.
Every Wednesday night, the Special Olympics Esports team comes together to play Mario Kart and compete with other schools.
Special Olympics is close to my heart, and I couldn't say no. Bryant had never had one before.
Miss Qualls, a computer science teacher, is the program's first coach. The students show up right after the bell rings and are ready to compete with schools across the nation.
First of all, they have fun. Secondly, they're actually learning problem-solving skills. They have to actually learn how to join the teams. There's some technical aspects to it. And then they actually compete, and they have a really good time together.
She enjoys coaching the kids, but spending time with them is her favorite part.
They have a real good friendship, and they work well together, and they complement each other. They're always positive. I hear them in there not only cheering each other on, but giving each other tips. And so they're actually learning and working together. It's just fun to be around them, and I think they're having fun.
The team consists of 3 Special Olympians and 3 partners. Senior Chris Garza has the privilege of helping the Olympians.
Honestly, it's just a lot of fun to be here. It helps relieve the stress of just every day, and it's just something to look forward to. I didn't fully know what this was, but now that I had like the first practice and like the first few times, I've really grown to like it.
This program not only includes Bryant's team, but also includes 18 other teams from the Central U.S. in their league. They not only have to interact with kids from other schools, but they have to work with each other as well.
It's just opening up more social skills and just learning how to be competitive but also friendly at the same time. They learn how to connect with each other. Even though we're friends in like the group, we can also be friends outside as well.
All of the Olympians are not only working on Wednesdays, but they are also using their buzz time to prepare for future games.
It's been helping me know how to play games. When I be in school, we can come after school to play. I like to play with other teams because it hit me a lot.
The Special Olympians are working hard over the next 5 weeks for their playoff tournament and championship played in November and December. For the Bryant Buzz, I'm Bentley Ballesteri.
Thanks, Bentley. As the Esports playoffs are getting ready to gear up, the team is hopeful to reach the championships, which will take place on December 13th. With such a competitive field, small businesses in Arkansas are hard to get going. With 99% of businesses here in the natural state being locally owned, Taylor Dischinger talked to one teacher right here at Bryant High School, who's making a change with one flower at a time.
With 80% of flowers imported, by the time you get your flowers from the grocery store, they are already a week old. One teacher here in the natural state is leading a local change in how people get their bouquets. After a year and a half of consideration, graphic design teacher Lindsay Fell finally planted the seed and started her flower farm earlier this year.
Around January, February is when I started with my first seedlings, and then we waited for our last frost date, which was around April 1st, before we planted them out here in the field. So these zinnias that you see right here are the zinnias that I started in the kitchen.
Mrs. Fell finds it easier to begin her process indoors until the time is right to put the flowers in the ground.
That'll give us 4 to 6 weeks of growing time and then transplant outside. And then we had little seedlings that we would plant into our rows.
She found a process that works best for her when making large orders to help her stay organized and consistent.
I usually decide on a bouquet recipe before, like it depends on where I'm taking them, because like Front Porch Market, for example, likes a wrapped bouquet priced at about $15. Blackberry Market, they like a wrapped bouquet priced at about $20.
At the start, selling her flowers at various locations was more of an experimental process than she originally anticipated.
Too, we kind of have to be flexible and throw different things out there at people and see what they wanted at those different locations. And it's interesting that the different things sell at the different locations.
Mrs. Fell chooses to sell her flowers in small businesses like her own to help support our local economy.
I like selling in small, independently owned places like, Blackberry Market, the Front Porch Market and things like that.
Blackberry Market is located in Argenta and is a young business just like Mrs. Fell's. Owner Whitney Leubner voices her enthusiasm in small business support.
We love to work with local businesses. We find that that's a great thing for us. We enjoy having that, but also our customers really love to have local items available.
Mrs. Fell isn't the only flower farmer in the area. There are several others as well that can rely on each other when in need.
There's been days I've had, custom orders that people have asked for, and I didn't have a certain color of something that I needed, and I know I can reach out to those growers and they'll sell me wholesale, a bunch of whatever I need.
If you're in search of organically grown flowers, you can trust that Bramble and Bloom will have just what you need. For the Bryant Buzz, I'm Taylor Dischinger.
Thanks, Taylor. For more information on how you can have your own bouquet, visit brambleandbloom.com. With one more game left in the regular season, head coach Claude Sanders is getting ready to face his biggest challenge this year, Bryant's former head coach, Buck James. Here's Kira Evans with more.
Coach Sanders has been the defensive coordinator for the Bryant football team for 7 years, but now has moved up to head coach.
The biggest difference in being a defensive coordinator is just not about one side of the ball. You just got to make sure you're putting the same focus on both sides of the ball, making sure the bigger picture is being displayed, and making sure everything's running correctly.
At this point in the season, Bryant has an 8-1 record, but the biggest challenge of the year is this Friday night.
I guess for where we are, I can't say I'm pleased because the job's not done. You really don't want to reflect on the season until you're done with it. But as far as what we're doing and progressing-wise, coaching-wise, I guess I'm okay with where we are now. Obviously, there's a long way to go. But, man, I won't complain. It's really nothing to complain about right now.
Hornets are preparing for the upcoming Conway game against former head coach Buck James.
For the last couple of years, it's been the conference championship game, so that's going to be enough fire in itself, on top of what's already going on between the two staffs, with the coaching changes and all. But I think that's enough fire added to it as well if we can both finish how we should and be competing for that conference championship again at the end of the year.
Defensive back Brendan Bennett has been under Coach Sanders since his sophomore year.
For him, he's hungry. Since it's his first year, he wants it more. So for the players, we have to double down and really work harder. It lets the players be themselves, you don't have to worry about getting in trouble as much. You can really just relax and play free.
The team has had a lot of success these past 5 years.
Obviously, you can always want to grow, and we've done a good job of growing in the last 5 years, so I just want to continue to build on what we've already done. We don't want to go backwards as a program. We always want to continue to climb, and I think that's just, as long as we're going in the right direction, and doing things the right way, I think we can live with the result of wherever we go.
For Hornet Media, I'm Kira Evans. Student section theme for the Conway game being camo, students and the team are gearing up to go buck hunting.
So be sure to show up and cheer on the Hornets.
To wrap up our show, it's now time for our 212 Spotlight. The 212 mentality was an idea created by former head coach Buck James. With this month's Spotlight, here's Bryant Buzz reporter Natalie Maharg.
This month's 212 Spotlight is Bryant High School Choir Director Tanner Oglesby. Mr. Oglesby goes above and beyond for his students by taking them on trips, planning concerts, and caring for them all by himself. There's a total of 5 choirs, but there's not enough time during the day, so the honeybees meet after school.
The 4 that meet during the day are tenor bass chorus, treble chorus, camerata, and bella voce. And so just kind of depending on where you're at and your singing journey, you could be in any one of those choirs. Camerata is my top advanced choir. Bella voce is my intermediate choir, and then anybody can join tenor bass or treble chorus.
Mr. Oglesby has been teaching for 7 years, and throughout those years, he's always focused on one thing for his students.
I'm really big on character in my classroom, so my primary goal is to build good humans before I build good musicians. And so I tell them all the time, one of the biggest things that I tell them is if we want to make something great happen in here and you want to make different achievements, you've got to move different.
Bryant High School senior B. Gallagher enjoys the community of the choir program.
Everyone is just so tightly knit. I feel like I can go to pretty much anyone in any of my choir classes and ask for help on anything.
De'Ara Williams has been in choir since 6th grade and is actively involved in camerata.
I love that he's able to build connections with his students. I love the way he teaches, the way he is able to not only connect with us, but teach us how to connect with music.
For the Bryant Buzz, I'm Natalie Maharg.
That's all the time we have for you today on the October edition of the Bryant Buzz.
Be sure to be on the lookout for the last episode of the Bryant Buzz this semester, airing in November, as well as one last edition of our weekly show, Hornet News Now.
You can keep up to date with the Hornet Media program by following us online, on our YouTube channel, and on Instagram at Hornet News Network.
Also, be paying attention to more information coming soon on our 3rd annual Hornet Media Christmas Extravaganza. I'm Hannah Rudnick.
And I'm Kirsten Hobson. Thank you for watching and have a great day.